Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, actually nothing. I'm just chilling out in my egg chair, actually Meg's egg chair, on our porch and just listening to the rain. Something about rain is very soothing. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so this video isn't about cars or anything. As many of you know, my wife, Mrs. Wrenching, Meg, she became very ill back in November. And we've decided that we're going to fill you in on what actually happened. Because she's still recovering and it's going to be a long road. They still feel that she could make a 100% recovery, but it's very, very time consuming. So back in November, I think it was it was the weekend right after Thanksgiving. It was a Sunday. She woke up in the morning and she had a severe headache, like severe. And her right eye was blood red. I saw that and I was just like, oh, this isn't good. So I was like, you're coming with me. We're going to the hospital. And she's like, no, I got to go to work. I'm like, no, you're going to the hospital. She's very stubborn like that. So I'm rushing her to the hospital because I can get her to the hospital faster than an ambulance can get here and then take her to the hospital, especially because of where we live. So I'm driving down the road, getting her to the hospital. We are 5 minutes away, and she says, I can't feel my right side. Great. Get into the hospital, and we rush into the emergency room where she collapses as I get there. So the hospital. Sorry about that. My daughter just came out for a second. So at the hospital, they rushed her into the emergency room. They saw her eye, and they wanted to know what was going on. They wanted me to tell them everything that was happening. So I told them everything that was going on. So immediately they thought, is it possible she had some type of a hemorrhage in her head, in her brain? So they did, I guess, an MRI and a CAT scan or whatever they did right off the bat and determined there's no brain bleed. Okay. So now, she had complete paralysis on her right side. So they started thinking, okay, well, she's having a stroke. So they started treating her for a massive stroke. At that point, they decided she'd be better off. There's actually a neurology hospital that specializes in stroke victims and head injury victims and stuff like that. There's one a couple towns over. So they said, we're transporting her there. She's in that serious a condition. Okay. So she gets rushed to that hospital. And they're doing all sorts of tests. They have all the leads attached to her head, monitors, everything going on. All sorts of IVs, everything. So now she's coherent, but she's confused because she doesn't know what's going on. About 4 days into this, her whole right side of her face was drooped. She couldn't lift her right arm, couldn't lift her right leg, obviously couldn't walk, could barely speak. The hospital comes back and says she didn't have a stroke. Okay. What is it? I said, well, we think she had what's called a hemiplegic migraine. A what? It's a form of a migraine headache. It can actually give somebody paralysis or tingling or whatever. Okay. Well, what's the treatment? Well, there's a certain treatment that they can give you, which is like a very high dose of magnesium and Sudafed, believe it or not. So they give it to her through the IV, and she falls asleep. I mean, they gave her like a quart and a half of Sudafed, like a liquid. It was just, when I saw the amount they were giving her, I was like, whoa. And then straight up magnesium. Now, the whole time, like I said, when this first happened, she said she had a severe headache. I was with her the whole time at the hospital, stayed with her, everything. So she woke up about 6 hours later, and she's looking around the room, and she's looking completely confused. Like I'm like, because now I'm wondering, what's going on? Like, what's our life going to be? That's what's going through my head. And she's looking around. She's very confused, and then she starts staring at me, and I'm like, "How are you feeling?" And she says, "Better." And I could see that the right side of her face was responding. Not perfectly, but it was responding. So it's like, okay, yay. We got something here. We're coming up with something. So they kept her for another day, and then they wound up releasing her. She couldn't walk. She could talk, but slurred speech, everything. It was bad. But she was at no risk at that point in time. But basically, the damage was already done. A hemiplegic migraine, in her case, was so severe that it caused all the same damage as a massive stroke. So when she got home here, of course, I had to care for her, and our daughter cared for her. I pretty much stayed with her the whole time. She needed a walker to get around, and in the beginning, that she couldn't even do that. I had to basically carry her. Luckily, she's only 125 pounds, so that was a major struggle. She's slowly been getting better, but she has relapse issues. We've been going to two different neurologists, two different neurology groups to try to figure out what's going on. We've been seeing several different doctors because she has headaches that just will not go away. She has vertigo and dizziness that will not go away. She basically says it feels like you're on a small boat in the ocean with the constant rocking back and forth. She says it never goes away. But she'll rate her dizziness on a scale of, like 0 to 10, 10 being the absolute worst. And on an average day, she's like 2 to 3. She says she feels like she's drunk all the time. And what happens too, she goes to physical therapy. They believe that the hemiplegic migraine could have caused nerve damage in the inner ear and in like the eye to brain. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. And like the eye to brain area. So there's a bunch of different things, because what'll happen is, like today, we go to a store and she can't drive, but like we'll go to a store, she'll walk with me, and she'll, you look at stuff on a shelf, and you're looking up here, and then you start looking down here, and looking at, try to find the thing that you need, and she does that, and it's over with. She immediately goes into a severe headache and gets extremely tired, and her speech starts slurring again. And she doesn't even realize it's happening. But I can see it. I know when it's happening. Thankfully, all of these things are becoming less and less frequent. She can tolerate things more and more, which is good. It's improvement. But the neurologist says this could take quite a while. So, anyway, it's been a long road, and I have her to where during the day, if I'm at work, sometimes she does accompany with me to the shop, and she'll sit in the office, or she'll sit in one of the back rooms, and she'll do her thing on a computer or whatever. But like I said, she can't drive, so it's just leaving her home alone is not always a great thing. Because she feels trapped being at home, and I understand that. So at least with me, I'm there to be with her, and I prefer it. I'd rather her be with me. At least I can recognize any signs of stuff that might be going on, and I can help her out. So anyway, I know I'm rambling, but so many of you have asked what happened, And I just felt, and Meg and I just felt that, now is the time we'll let you know what's going on, because at the time we really weren't 100% certain. Even though they said they believed she was going to make a 100% recovery, they still didn't exactly know what was going on. When she woke up from that migraine treatment, I was thinking, okay, great, a week from now she'll be back to normal. It's been 6 months. So I'm very thankful things are progressing the way they are. So, and I'm thankful to all of you. I mean, a lot of you sent your well wishes and that, and thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate that. Anyway, that's about it. We literally go to 3 different doctor's appointments a week as we try to figure things out. Plus, they have to adjust medications here and there to just see if they can't get things to more of a happy medium and get her on a level that she could be good with. Like I said, everything's improving. It's just taking forever. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I appreciate all of you. Mrs. Wrenching appreciates all of you. Have a great night. Keep wrenching.